Okay. Should we opening? I'm going to do an opening of this. Welcome, everybody. This is a real quick tour of all the items. We're going to give a little description, so you have a little provenance and an idea where they came from and where they're going to go, your house, hopefully. So to begin with, we have a whole bunch of tubs. Right there you see about 12 or 13 of them. Some have legs. Some don't have all their legs. We may have the legs in stock, but for the moment, if they have legs, that's great. The next one over, we have sinks, a lot of sinks actually. This is just a sampling of some of the sinks. The sinks mount on the wall, cast iron. We do have them in porcelain also. Probably have a dozen or two. Those originally came in the Sears Catalog cottages. That's what you would get for the bathrooms. And they have a wall mount. You can just use piece. There's other ways you can mount them, but they mount on the wall. That would be the 1929 version. You would see those in those catalogs. The other one, next going over, you'll see it's actually an arch. This is a piece of junk in front of it. Behind that's a really nice little canopy with, for a porch with a couple of posts in it. Over here you see a sampling of some of the windows. And when it comes down to the windows on the porch, those are like 12 foot tall. It's a door with a transom over it and a side window that's almost 10 foot tall. And it's off of the front of a store. Getting down over here, you'll see a stack of doors. A lot of these are pocket doors. And they're actually from places as far away as Illinois, Quincy, Illinois. There's some from St. Louis area. You'll find quite a few of them. I think I still have another 40 of them, 50 of them. And this next one right here, you see a really cool door. It's difficult to see it real clearly in this image, but I will say it has one of the coolest looking bottoms on it you could possibly look for, and it's already in a frame and it's jammed with an arch top on it. The other side is quite simple. I'll tell you when I show you in a second. This next piece over here, these are doors that came out of the King William district of San Antonio, and that was a convent at the time down in that district. And you can see the door numbers on them. You can see a vent that's on the bottom of them. They have a textured glass in the bottom right there. Beautiful doors with deep, almost a foot deep, basically jams because they were in brick walls. So you could actually have bookcases on both sides of those. Would be really nice. This is just stacks of window sashes. We literally have hundreds and hundreds, and some of them have textured glass in them, and some of them are imported European glass. In this case over here, you're seeing the screens. Now these are all, I want to make a point, nearly all of those are screens that you would have found in Sears Catalog cottages. There was actually some Montgomery Ward cottages and actually some Aladdin packages, kit houses you used to be able to buy. But these are sets sometimes in 4s, 6s, 8s, enough to do a good size house, all with good screen. Some of them have 8, just like at 8 window panes, they have 8 sections in the screen. These are made out of Cypress. Very nice pieces, very hard to find. I had them in a collection for a long time. Going down over here, we have doors I have in stock. They're single panel. Miracle Door Company was notable as one of the companies that made single panel doors. And some of these are painted, some of these are in varnish. If you want to get there and get the varnished ones, you want to get there very early. As you can see over here, I have a lot of them that are painted. I have windows and doors, same issue now. Disclaimer, you need to accept and understand whenever you're buying or going into a warehouse. First of all, if you have any dust issues, I have more dust in there than you could ever imagine exists. Wear your mask, wear whatever protection you have to have. You have to understand you're going to be liable for your own health while you're in there, and injuries if you hurt yourself, cut yourself, all those kind of things. That's not part of the deal. We're not insuring you, so please pay attention to that. We'll have a list of things you should have with you: gloves, mask, whatever you need for protection. But the point is, you're liable for your own behavior as adults. No children allowed. We're not wheelchair accessible, unfortunately, I'm afraid. And we may have some limitations even with, it's a big warehouse. So there's some people who are going to be limited. Here's an example. You can see me standing in one of the doorways out of the King William district. And you can see how amazingly big that jam is around me. That's insane. But that was actually probably 10 foot tall for the walls. Now, I'm pulling up here a bunch of really amazing screens. Some of these are 7 foot tall or better. I actually have a pair of arch doors screens. We have 2 pairs of those. Very hard to find. This is a pair of a screen door. You can see the screen door a little better over here in this one. As you look at these, they have the old metal in them, but that one also has the gingerbread in the corners. So it's a gingerbreaded 1.75 inch thick, really heavy door. Can stand the wind. It's not going to blow and fall apart on you. You can also see, though, down below, I have rows and rows of doors. You can see at the distance way in the back down there, it's almost 50 feet. This originally came as 800 doors out of St. Louis. I still have about 300 left. Again, if you're going to take them and you have lead-based paint, clean the lead-based paint off with caution, and then put some sort of sealant on it. You can use all sorts of different kinds of clear sealant or otherwise, and make sure nobody eats your paint. Over here we have arch top windows, the arc top, but look how big they are. That's me standing next to it. I'm standing about 6 foot tall, so you can guess that window. These were on the fronts of stores. These were like in the old days, the big old department stores. Those panes of glass are 48 inches tall and 34 inches wide. Gigantic pieces of glass, hand blown in the 1900s, a lot of those. There's, I think, 7 of those window jambs, and probably the window panes are in about 4 or 5 of them are pretty complete. But actually it has about 6 windows to the set. If you go down below, you'll see doors that actually have the jambs on them and the transoms on them and everything ready to go. Those are great, probably 1890s circa. And over here, you'll see the handle, which actually has the date, original date on it. I think it was 1878. And you'll see me pick it up. And this is a pull-down interior door made out of wood. I have the side rails and everything for that. That's going to be at least 8 foot wide, and I think I'm 10 foot tall. You can see over here the rolls. There's 2 matched pair. They came out of a church on the Iowa and Missouri border. And the church is really cool, a small town, but you wanted to divide the church, the big room up. You could pull those down, and you have another 3 sections in the church where you have 3 classrooms or something going on. It's pretty cool idea. It'd be very easy to put that back together again. What you'll see over here is pretty unique. Just literally windows, windows, windows. I probably have in their jams, a lot of them full sets out of a Sears Craftsman house. Catalog cottage. So you have the whole jam with the sashes together on it. Add the weights. The sills are still good on them. You'll have to reglaze them, put glazing around the glass. But you can see I have ample. There's also doors from as far away as Lincoln, Nebraska, and not just St. Louis, but also Buffalo, New York. Windows, doors. That's a townhouse called Townhouse Door. That one has 1 broken pane in it, but still it's an incredible door. There's a whole stack of them from Lincoln, Nebraska. And the nice thing you'll see about those is they have a lot of really good wood. This is, again, sashes and total windows in their jams. You can see over here, as I'm walking around, I can give you a size example. I'm 6 foot, this is an 8 foot door. And it's a French door. And over here, this is a set of French doors in their jam. They need a little bit of work, but I have the mullions. I have the original pieces to go across to put them together, all that in Cypress, in new old stock to do the work for the person who wants to do that kind of thing. This gives you an idea of just one section of the warehouse. And this is flooring on both sides going all the way down the far end. There's all trim. And some of that trim is, all of it is no knots, all clear. A lot of it's got either milk paint, which is not like lead-based paint, and some of it has no paint on it. Some of it has lead-based paint on it. So you have to pick and choose what you want or be around. But again, you have to pay attention to this if you have an issue with those things. This is an example of some of the trim, and literally amazing that all those boards don't have a single knot in them. They came out of trees that were 1,000 years old. Longleaf pine, cypress. Actually, some of that's walnut, some of that's oak. You can see over here now, just literally this is rows of flooring and rows and rows and rows. You see me standing down there. A lot of these piles are not big. You're not going to do a 1,000 square foot house out of one of these piles, but you could do a small house of 3, 4, 5, 600 square foot. You could gather wood for that kind of a project. Off the shelves, we have all the trim, basically to do all the crown up in the corners, all the quarter round. You'll see lots of different kinds of trim. And some of these batches, I took pictures we'll put up later also, but you'll see if you look close, expand them up, you'll actually see some really big pieces of baseboard, for example, 16 foot long, some of it. All the little corner pieces when you're doing trim, these cost a lot of money in the store to buy plastic now. This is all real wood. There's probably 10,000 feet of it in that little section right there. And then all of these are the tops of the headers in all the Sears Catalog houses. You'll see between the living room and the dining room, you'll see that wall that goes across with a couple of posts on it, and that's what's on each side. That's the headers. And so I have a bunch of those, some of them as long as 14 feet, 12 feet. Not a problem. And some of this that you'll see on the shelves, this is just on the floor. This is all 1 by 12 stacked up. Literally several thousand square feet of it there, I'm sure. And then I have a bunch of the old 6 by 6, 8 by 8, different sizes of beams. And you can see them in there. Some of them are pretty long. Some of them have out of old railroad depots that are 15 foot long, solid cypress, longleaf pine, and some are creosoted, which is great. No bug will touch them. They'll be there for 100 years. As you can also see, all the holes. Look at that. Holiness right there. This is actually all posts, columns. So as you look at some of those, you'll see 8 foot, 10 foot. Over here, you can look at me standing in the midst of them. Pretty darn long. Those are all the 1880s, 1890s, 1900, all the way up into the 1930s. Again, I said I had more sinks. You can see over here, there's even some old fire. Actually, these are old heaters, and they have the waffles in them, and you can actually make these work as long as you have something to make sure if the power light goes out, it doesn't come back on without lighting or igniting again. So you can use that and modify those, make them usable. The sinks and stuff that you see over here, these are more porcelain sinks, not anything great or wonderful. There are cast iron sinks down there too still, but the porcelain sinks, you'll be able to get those really cheap. They're still of the period, 1940s and stuff like that, but it's the beginnings of porcelain. Racks of sashes, window sashes. That could be 4 pane, 8 pane, 1 pane, 2 pane, vertical split sashes. All the parts you would need that would have been shipped in catalogs. I actually do have some of the new old stock of those as well. Some of these pieces you'll see that'll actually be on the racks will also be cabinet doors. That means for your kitchen cabinets and such. These are examples here of arc top window sashes, and I actually have some windows in there that are they're winter change outs for the screens. So it'd be the glass you put on for the winter, and then you take those off and put the screens on. And those are what they did with the catalog houses in the north. Over here is a turnstile with a bunch of tools and stuff on it. I may sell that. A bunch of it stores screws and all that kind of thing. Those are not cheap. They usually sell by how many drawers you have or layers spinning. Each one of those spins around, so you have to walk all the way around. They were in hardware stores in the old days. That's actually about $2,000 worth of storage rack. And yes, I've had lots of people ask to buy it over the years. When you look down below, you'll see some examples of textured glass. And I have all the types I have right now. I have the star. I have the, there's several the different looks you can get, pebble finishes, as well as the squiggly. There's a good close-up view of the snowflake glass. I have a lot of snowflake glass in stock. Out in the yard, in this particular collection of pictures, you'll see a lot of lumber. I still do have a good bit of that. We'll talk more about that later, because this particular auction, we're not focusing on that. We'll be focusing on the windows and focusing on the doors. So that gives you your first episode of the pictures, everybody. We'll go back and try to put some names and give you a little more idea, but please do get in touch if you have questions and you see stuff in there and you want to get it before the big sales, so that you be sure you get it. That's what the May 9th and May 10th showings are for. I'll be taking groups of maybe 4, 6 people, 8 people together, walking through there, talking about stuff. If they want to buy it before the big sale, they can get it rather than risk it not being there because they didn't get there early enough or whatever on the day of the sale. It's very difficult to try to tell you about everything that's there, because there's literally in this warehouse over 1 million items, well over 1 million items. And so from flooring pieces to trim pieces to sets of stuff to windows to a whole collection we haven't shown you here of just glass that's on shelves of all the stock sizes. So please get back in touch for the next episode. Have a great day.